Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about traveling. If you are someone who loves to travel like me, then this video is definitely for you. So stay tuned. I have traveled more than 10 countries and God knows how many cities. So I think I have some experience on that I can talk about. First, I want to tell you that how I started my travel journey. So coming from India, I wasn't a fan of traveling because I traveled a lot with my family. We did a lot of road trips to a lot of religious places, cities, but I never liked traveling in India. And because of that, I hated travel overall. I didn't know that travel could be fun. Travel could be so amazing. One of the reasons were that because when you do the road trip in India, the cleanliness is not there. So if you want to use a restroom or anything, public restrooms are so dirty that I wouldn't want to go there. And so that was one of the reasons. And the second reason is that when you're on the road, the pollution is so bad, the roads are so bad that you're always going through the bumps, so you're always shaking, and then all the pollution is so bad that if you put down your window, then it's just the dust. So there were things that I never liked about traveling in India. The part where if it's a long travel, then the facilities are not there, the cleanliness is not there, especially the hygiene is not there. Being a girl, these things are important for me, so I hated it. But it all changed after I moved to US. After I got married, I moved to US, and before that my husband used to say that yeah, we are gonna travel the world, and I used to not like the idea of that because of my experience of traveling in India. And I'm sure it's great to travel in India if you're traveling through air, flight, or maybe train. Even I have traveled in train. I'm not a fan of it either. So back to when I moved here, we did our first trip to Los Angeles because we live in California. We drove from Bay Area to Los Angeles, which was like 6-7 hours of drive, and I loved it. Like, I had no issues about using the restroom, and the roads were clean and everything was so beautiful because California is so beautiful. I have seen so much beauty by being on the road, and obviously that was my first trip and I loved it. And since then we started traveling more and more. First we traveled a lot in the US only, and then later we started going out to different countries whenever we got a chance. So definitely traveling to different countries or islands or cities was an amazing experience for me, and I cannot emphasize enough at how much travel helps you grow as a person, because you learn so many things, like about the culture of a country, their language, different people, different culture. Everywhere you go it's different. Because of your learning, your knowledge expands. You expand your horizon when you travel. And as I've traveled to so many countries, every single experience for me was really great. And actually when someone asked me that what was your favorite travel experience, or which one was your favorite trip, I cannot tell any single one. Every single trip had an experience of its own, which is definitely different than the other one. So I'm gonna just talk about the part of the countries that I've traveled. I've traveled to Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, US, a lot of cities in US, Hawaii, New York, California where I am, and then Macau, Jamaica. I've traveled to Cancun, Mexico City, and London, UK, Ireland, Scotland, Edinburgh, so many places, and also Puerto Rico. And last trip we had was Belize. So yes, that was a lot of countries and a lot of cities that I've traveled. My favorite thing to do on any trip, or my favorite place to go, is not a particular country or city, but to go on any island or a beach place where I can just sit and relax and watch the ocean, which is the best. And watching sunset on the ocean is one of the best things that you could do. So yes, I love beach trips, I love island trips, which we did a lot. And even when I think about it now, I feel so happy. And one thing that I want to say that I know is true, that no one ever regrets traveling. No one will ever say that I wish I didn't go for that trip, I wish I didn't go to that city or that country. Nobody would say anything like that, because there's nothing negative about traveling. It's only the experience, the learning, and the fun that you have on the trip. So I always tell people to travel more, either solo, with your partner, with your family, or whoever you can. Whatever you can do it. With so many great experiences, there were few that I still remember because they were so great. Watching the most gorgeous sunsets from some of the beaches or from the top of the mountain, or driving at 3 a.m. to watch the sunrise at 5 a.m. in Hawaii, and with the biggest open sky that I can see, like biggest open sky that I was ever experienced. Then the experiences of Hong Kong, Singapore, New York, these were like the cities with the amazing architecture and high-rise buildings. Those experiences were amazing on its own, and then you learn about the people, the culture, and their language, whatever it is, about the food or how people talk, how friendly people are, even if they are friendly or not. So there were so many things that we learned. I've seen my first snow of my life here in Lake Tahoe in California. It was amazing. I loved it. And then there were times that I saw the first rainbow of my life, which I never saw anywhere, like which I didn't see in India. I'm not saying that there aren't rainbows there, but I never saw it because I didn't travel as much in India. I got to see my first rainbow, and I cannot tell you how happy I was, and I just loved it. My favorite thing about nature is sunset and rainbows. Those are the two things that I love the most. So yes, those were the great experiences happened because I traveled. And I always tell people to take public transportation if you go to a country or city where the public transportation is the thing. Like in New York, London, Hong Kong, Singapore, the public transportation was very easy and convenient. But like in some cities, the public transportation is not that great, like in LA, in San Diego, or in Hawaii. So we had to actually rent the car, which obviously is an option that you should do if the public transportation is not great. Taking public transportation helps you to live like the local there. That's how you get to experience that. That's why taking public transportation is fun. Yeah, you can rent a car. Yeah, you have the money. But that's not the fun. When you actually travel through the bus, the train, you live like the local and you get to see everything. There used to be a lot of planning before taking a trip, which is the fun part. First of all, we would always make lists before planning the trip. We will make the list of all the main popular touristic spots and everything that we want to go, all the restaurants, whatever we want to try, and wherever we want to go, we will make list of that. And according to the number of the days that we are going, we will plan everything that, okay, we will cover these places on this day and this day. You want to make sure, because you're taking this trip, you might not go there again. I prefer to travel to new places, to new cities every single time instead of repeating it. So obviously you want to cover everything up, whatever the main popular places are, the food, main monuments or museums or the beaches, everything. You want to cover everything, because I feel like I don't want to go there again. I would rather go to a new place, new country, new city, and have new experience. So for those reasons, it's better to try to cover everything in your trip. When we are traveling, we are on a trip, we would wake up really early to make sure that we start our day really early so that we can cover all the places that we have on that list. And because we don't want to miss anything, and because public transportation takes time, so accordingly we will wake up early, we will get ready, and we will just run. And we had walked so much on these trips, like 20k steps or 30k steps was nothing. And also one of the things that I loved is when you're going to a country where English is not their first language, and when you try to communicate, although if you're going to a country and it's like a famous tourist city like Cancun, where English is not their first language in Mexico, but still people would know English because it's such a touristic place that they would know basic English. And also if they don't, it's just the fun and the learning of trying to communicate with people. If you're ordering something or trying to say something, that was just really a fun part. Another thing that I loved about traveling is the different type of cuisines, the food that you get to eat. Even though I'm vegetarian, but I never had any issues eating vegetarian food in any of the countries, even in Hong Kong. So because Indians are everywhere, that's what I've realized after traveling to so many countries, that Indians are everywhere. And because Indians are there, there is always Indian food, Indian restaurant, even if there are not Indians, but there is vegetarian food or something you will get. So I never had issues with that. I loved trying new food. Although I wasn't this person before, when I moved to US, I used to not like eating salads or trying different foods because my taste buds were very restricted. But after traveling so much, living here for so many years, and especially traveling in the beginning, I actually tried so many different cuisines. I get to to eat so many different food which I loved, and I feel so lucky that I get to actually experience all those things, the authentic food of Hong Kong, Chinese food, and Singaporean food, or Mexican food. So yeah, and I cannot even put in the words that how much I love traveling, no matter how much I say here or to anyone, because traveling is about experiencing on your own. I cannot describe my experiences in words, like watching the most gorgeous sunset. I don't know how to put that in words, because that was just the experience I had on my own. If you want to know, you have to experience it yourself, because nobody can tell you. You have to see it with your own eyes. I remember watching this gorgeous sunset in Hawaii, and I started crying, like tears started coming out of my eyes, because I couldn't believe that I'm seeing something so beautiful. Like, that's the experience I'm talking about. And that's why I always tell people to go travel. Don't just live in one city or one country. Try to travel in a different city, state, or if possible, go to a different country and experience, because you can actually buy things from money and to fill up your house, like a car, furniture, big TV, or whatever, but that's nothing compared to the experiences that you can have through traveling. I would rather live in a small house or in one-bedroom apartment so that I save money and I travel, rather than buying all those things to put in my house, because that's of no use. These experiences that you have through traveling is lifelong experiences. Nothing is compared to it. Nothing can give you this kind of real experiences. I would never trade anything for my travel experiences, because those were the best moments of my life, and I feel lucky and grateful to be actually able to experience those things, especially with my life partner, and to enjoy those moments. Like, we have so much fun on these trips. So yeah, I would say please go and travel. The world is for you to travel, not just to be in one place. You have no idea what you are missing out on if you're not traveling in your life. And with all these travel experiences, I have a lot of information about the visa process, how visa process work for any particular country, especially the countries that I have visited to. So if you have any questions about what are the countries that you can visit with the Indian passport or with the US visa, if you're living in US, I can help you with all these questions. So comment on this video whatever your questions are about visa, about traveling. I will reply to your comment and I will make a video of that. This was just a video to let you know about my experience about travel, which I can talk endlessly. That's how much I love traveling, and that's the experience I have, but I'm keeping it short. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Until then, bye bye.